Actually, I don't have a lot of words on slides. I just want to tell you about our school. I want to tell you about our kids. Our school is a small school in a small town, in a small little part of that town, in a remote corner of a really big state. You can ask the PD 360 guys. I'm not sure they knew where they were. In our school, we have those kind of kids. You know the ones. They don't have much. They don't always smell good. They don't come to school ready to learn. Their family lives are at best dysfunctional and at worst gut-wrenchingly tragic. They're challenging, and researchers are going to tell you that they are not going to do well on standardized assessments. Central School is home to those kids. We have about 80% of our kids on free and reduced lunches. We have 90% Hispanic kids. Of 165 kids in my school last year, 18 lived in a family with their mom and dad they came to Earth with. I just realized I have to add this number a little bit. I have now 11 kids who have one parent that's died. I have 2 kids who have both parents who have died. When I was visiting in the home of a couple of these kids whose mom had passed away suddenly, I was talking to Grandma, and I said, "What happened?" And she said, "Well, she died from life." And when you live in a life that's so tough it can kill you, that's the reality for many, if not most, of my kids. So no one would be terribly surprised if they didn't do too well on schoolwork. Nobody would say too much if they didn't do well on standardized tests. In fact, that's probably what most people would expect, ask the researchers. But you ask anybody at Central School, and you're going to get a different answer. Because our school motto is excellence without excuses. We expect great things from every kind of kid. We expect great things from every adult, every kid, every day. The adults in our building have taken it as a personal responsibility to do whatever it takes to make sure that kid that leaves our classroom is on grade level, ready for the next grade with the knowledge, the skills, and the confidence to be successful. It is not enough to say we've got no child left behind. We've got to have every child ready to lead. We have some deeply held common beliefs in our school. And they're on the front wall when you walk in the door. It's what we believe. It's how we do things in our building. The number one thing that we think has to come first every time is we do peace. Our school has to be a safe haven. It has to be the place where people feel loved and warm and secure. One of our 5th graders at graduation said, "You know, this really isn't like a school. It's like how a home is supposed to feel." That's our goal. And to make that happen, you've got to have colors, you've got to have pictures, you've got to have words, you've got to have smiles, you've got to have hugs, you've got to have a lot of safe places to land. Because we believe, number one, first thing, it's got to be a safe place to learn. And we do lots of learning. We guard our instructional time because we know that every minute is precious. Every minute. And so we plan because we want to optimize and make sure every minute is the best learning minute we can make it. For example, our 1st and 2nd graders are in leveled reading groups. We do a lot of assessments the very first week of school, and we determine who are our most struggling readers. And those most struggling readers go in Miss Heidenreich's class. Because she is my number one most experienced rock star reading teacher. And we keep that reading group between 8 to 10 kids. And she's joined by my rock star bilingual ESL teacher. So that keeps that student ratio 4-to-1, 5-to-1, because that's what it takes. My special ed inclusion teacher, my reading teacher, my other first and second grade teachers, they all have reading groups, different sizes depending on the needs of the kids, but every reading group is taught on grade level. How they're different is the supports we provide, the interventions we provide, the enrichments we provide, the encouragement. It depends on what you need in that group, because we're going to do whatever it takes. And we do lots of learning. In our school, we do working hard. We do believe that every child has to be instructed on grade level, because we believe in the equity of being assessed on what you've had the opportunity to learn. If you come to my school and you're a second grader and you're a year behind, and I instruct you on that level, you might grow a whole year, and guess what? You're a year behind. If I continue that cycle until you're a third grader and we take the big test, you're being assessed on something that you have never had the opportunity to learn. And we believe you can learn that. So we do everything on grade level. And because of that, we do lots of growing. You saw in the video, if you go into our school, you're going to see lots of data walls, lots of data charts, every classroom, every hallway. Our kids have goals for math, for reading, for behavior. Every kid has a math folder and a reading folder so they can monitor their own progress toward goals. As a matter of fact, when you come to visit our school, someone is going to come up to you with a folder and say, hey, look at where I am. Here's where I am, and here's what I've got to do next. Because we do a lot of growing. Oh, I love her. We do mistakes at our school. And when I say mistakes, I mean we encourage our kids to take some risk. We want them to ask hard questions. We want to give them the opportunity to offer those solutions to math problems and feel like it's okay, it's a safe place. We want them to try the harder books. And we also support those kind of mistakes, if you want to call them those. For example, if you choose a book and it's really not a match for you, you can abandon that book. But first you're going to have to write me a letter giving me 5 good reasons why you and that book don't match. Gives our kids a great opportunity to write for a purpose. They can work on their persuasive language. It's one of those situations where, yes, spelling counts. We want kids to make those kind of mistakes because we believe that those mistakes are actually learning experiences. And we believe in learning. We do learning all the time, even at lunch. At lunch, we work on Word of the Week, and we also work on mini book talks. Everybody's name is on a stick. If I pull your stick, you've got to tell me what you're reading, what the genre is, and what are 2 great things about your book. Oh, let me go back to him. He was not a mistake. He's a joy. With all of that learning, we do tests. We do math test and reading test and PE test and Spanish test and test to make sure that we know how to take tests. But we believe that all of those tests are just an opportunity to show what we know. Now, in New Mexico, the big test is called the NMSBA. But in our school, we call it Show What You Know. And during Show What You Know week, we're emphasizing attendance, we're emphasizing hard work. First and second graders have a role during Show What You Know. During Show What You Know, their job is to support and encourage. And that's all we tell them. And it's amazing. They wrote notes to the big kids. They put posters up in the hall for the big kids because Show What You Know is an important week for us. Also during Show What You Know, we test hard, and then we give an end of the assessment survey. Sounds impressive, doesn't it? End of the assessment survey. And if that's any indication, 95% of our kids said they really loved Show What You Know, with 2 votes for best week ever. We do tests, and even though researchers would tell you our kids aren't going to do so well, on the average, our kids are 18 percentage points higher than the state average in reading, 13 percentage points higher than the state average in math. They do okay. We talk a lot about tests and academics, but you know what? There's some other things that are very, very important to us in our school. In our school, we do respect. Every year at the end of the year, I ask my teachers to give me what I call a best-worst list. I want you to tell me the 5 best things that happened this school year and the 5 worst things that happened this school year. It gives them a great chance to reflect, and it gives me the opportunity to see if there are any things that I need to address that are systemic, that are school-wide, that we need to talk about. About 6 years ago, over half of my teachers had something on their list about kids being disrespectful. So I spent that summer, and I just watched. I watched kids. I watched adults. I watched them interact, and it occurred to me, perhaps they're disrespectful because nobody's taught them. If it's a norm we expect in our building, then it's a responsibility we have to show them what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like. So we started our respect curriculum, and it's very, very simple. In our school, you show respect for yourself, others, and our school every single day. We have an assembly the very first day of school, and we all come together, and we define respect, and we act it out, and we role play it, and we work with it until we all have an understanding of how things are going to work in our building. Now, because my kids, I think they're glorious, but they're not perfect. Once in a while, they are going to break a rule of respect. If you break a rule of respect, you have to make a repair. If you hurt somebody's feelings, you have to make it better. If you break something, you fix it. That's how it works. If for some reason you've gotten yourself to a place that you cannot make a repair, you go to the recovery table. Saw that little boy sitting at the recovery table. When you go to the recovery table, at that point, your repair is going to be a written apology or a written plan for how you're going to make things better. After about 3 weeks of school at the beginning of the year, we don't use the recovery table much anymore because that's become the atmosphere, that's the climate that we're respectful to each other in our building. And that's an important part of a safe learning environment. And my kids need safe. Another part of that is we do thank yous. We do I'm sorries. In our school, we say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, please, thank you. We teach our kids how to shake hands. We teach our kids how you look somebody in the eye when you talk. At our school, you don't eat until everyone's served. I did have a parent call me and tell me, would you please tell them that is a school rule, that at our house we can eat. Whatever. We expect good manners from our kids because, again, it's another part of that safe learning environment. And it gives our kids some skills, and we want them to have some skills to navigate a world that's very, very different from their home a lot of times. We do friendship. We do happiness. Love those girls. If it's your birthday at our school, you get to eat in the birthday cafe, and you get to take 5 friends with you to the birthday cafe. We set up social situations to let kids practice being friends. And there's some important skills we also teach that are very important for our kids. One of those is being a good finder. Because our kids, most of them live in a world there's not a whole lot of good. And that negativity that they live in can be dream crushing. And so we want them to learn to be good finders. So we have hall checks. Somebody's going to come in the hall. They're going to say, what'd you see good today? That's their job. In my office, we have something called the Kindness Journal. It was started as an assistive device for some mean girls. And their job was anytime they found something good or something kind, they got to come to my office and write it in the kindness journal. A really simple thing, but it changed how they were looking at things. It changed what they were looking for. Kind of a result of that, I had 6 kids come to me, and they said, we have an idea. We want to be the elf patrol. It was 2 weeks before winter break, not the 2 weeks well known for great behavior. And they said, what we want to do is we want to catch people being kind and write them a note and give them a candy kiss. And it'll just take a little bit of instructional time because they know how we are. And actually my role in this was to fund the candy kisses. It was a great idea. And it was a celebration of the kind of things we wanted them to start looking for. It was great. And in our school, we do praise. That was a kind of praise. We do genuine, authentic praise for genuine, authentic, good work. Our data walls, our folders, all of those things give us jumping off points for giving that authentic praise. And in our school, we do laughter. We have a good time. We do fun stuff. That's my number 1 rock star reading teacher. I cannot tell you what she is doing. But it's good. We do laughter. We have a good time. We do fun stuff. We want learning to be fun, but we also want celebrations for those accomplishments, for those great things. One of our favorite reading rewards is we have a sock hop. And everybody just gets together and we dance together. The teachers and the kids. And we drink Coke floats and we dance. And we enjoy being together. Another great fun thing we've done is we have a theater that's close to us. And so we walk to see plays, if we've done well. And we walk to go see Fancy Nancy. And all the teachers dressed up like Fancy Nancy, even the guys. It was some kind of fun. We do laughter. We do celebrations. Every PLC, I think you saw that on the video, every PLC, a part of that is celebrations. Tell me the good things that have happened. What are the big things that have happened? Tell us the small things that are happening. What are the accomplishments? We laugh and we celebrate. And sometimes we cry. Because in our school, we do real. And real sometimes means when you come in the morning, you need 5 minutes to talk so you can regroup so you're ready to learn. Sometimes real means you got to take a nap because at your house you didn't get to sleep last night and you can't get to the learning until I take care of the real. Sometimes the real's a little more involved. I greet all of my kids at the door every day. And a 4th grade boy came in the door. And I could tell by the scowl and the attitude, things weren't good. I said, Terry, you having a bad day? Yes. I said, whoa, bud, you know that's not how we talk to each other in our building. Come on in my office. Let's see if we can work this out. So we sat down in the chair. Big tears start rolling down his face. And he said, I had to wear my little sister's pink My Little Pony panties. I said, whoa. That's a miserable start to your day. Said, I tell you what, I have some alternative garments that I will place in the nurse's bathroom. And if you want to make a switch, you go ahead and do that. So I checked a little later, and sure enough, in the trash can, tiny little pair of pink My Little Pony panties. And at that moment, the bar for if I'm having a bad day changed. Am I wearing my own underwear? It's not that bad. We do real and we do dreams because we believe that our kids' salvation is to catch a dream. They've got to catch a dream. We take every one of our fifth graders to a university because our town doesn't have a university. And if you've never seen one, how do you dream about going to one? So we take a 3-hour, one-way bus trip to a university. And we do experiments in the engineering lab because we want some kids to catch that dream of a career in math and science. And then we eat in the all-you-can-eat food court, a dream come true. And then we tour the campus and we look at a dorm room and we catch a dream. Some of our kids who are really having a hard time, why are we at school? There's no use in this. It has no relevance for me. We have something called dream folders. If you get a dream folder, you get to come in my office and work with me, and we talk about what do you want out of this life? What do you want? What do you want to get? And the number one answer is always a car. So we start there. And we talk about what kind of car you want and what color is it going to be and how's it going to look. And we find that image and we print it out and we put it in your dream folder. And we start a collection of things that you're dreaming about, things you want. And they're not always that materialistic. I had a young lady, and she said to me, I want to put in my folder, that thing where like you get up in the morning and there's people and they're all like at a table and they're eating? I said, okay. And we found a picture of a family having breakfast because that's her dream. In our school, we do dreams. In our school, we're family. We work very hard. We expect amazing, great work from every adult and every child every day. And yes, we have a lot of those kids. But those kids are miracles. They are changing things. They're busting through barriers every single day because of their persistence and their hard work. And because they've got teachers that'll set that bar high and do whatever it takes to help them reach those goals. And we have our setbacks and our frustrations. We get test results back and they're not always what we wanted. And some of our kids leave us and that life that kills swallows them up. But more and more of them are making it. And that is our obligation. That's our responsibility to provide an education for every child that lifts them out of that life that kills. Because it's important to kids, and it's important to families, and it's important to community, and because we're family. In family, you listen to every voice. And we've talked a lot today about voice, and I think it's so important that we listen to student voice. And we are so blessed to have some student voices. And Ben and Alyssa are going to tell you some more.